Hi, everyone. My name is Jason Millett from Camps with Friends. We are a online summer camp and enrichment program database where parents can search for all sorts of businesses for their kids all around the country. And in our partner spotlight today, I'm talking to Anchi, and Anchi plays the erhu in the Chinese Music Ensemble of New York. And Anchi, why don't you say hello? And you can also show, yeah, go ahead and show your erhu. It's let's see if we can get it in the video there. Yeah, I'll let you take it away.
So this is an instrument that's made of wood, and it has a sounding box. And the sounding box will resonate, make sound with a snake skin that's made of python skin. And this instrument has two strings with a bow that was the regular horsehair to create the sound. And the bow is kept within the two strings so that in the olden day, this instrument came from the Mongolian nomadic tribe to the agricultural China. So when the horsemen riding on their horses while playing this instrument, they will not lose their bow. So this is a very typical string instrument that we have in our ensemble. So I play this instrument since I was young.
Why don't you go ahead and try and play it for us? I know that we may not be able to hear it, but Anchi has sent me a sound bite, and I could always overlay it, but so everyone can kind of hear it. I know some of it I did hear. Oh, went off. No, yeah, that's great. We heard the first little bit there, and then it cuts out. Apparently, Zoom can't hear or pull in constant sound that's not voice. So that's a bit of a challenge. But that's a great little a great instrument. You said that this one was custom made for you, correct?
Yeah, this was made by a current like modern day instrument maker, and the wood came from like an old sets of redwood furniture, like for furniture. And for erhu as an instrument, it requires some vertical woods material and then 8 different pieces. So from old furniture, it's totally adaptable. And there's a design that we call the window of the sound box with a crescent moon and 2 stars. And then the head is usually people have like dragon shape or things like that, but I have it as swirling cloud where the music can run and then flow.
Yeah, that's really great. Oh,
sorry, I lost my thing.
Oh, you dropped your mouse. No problem. So, Anchi, thanks for joining us today. We're going to talk a little bit about the Chinese Music Ensemble of New York and your mission. Why don't you tell us who you are, what you guys do, and what your mission is?
Okay, so the Chinese Music Ensemble of New York was founded in 1961, which was like about 62 years ago. And it was first founded by there were 4 founders. 2 came from China, Hong Kong to the United States, and 2 came from China, Taiwan to the United States. So these were people that are just into music, and music is part of the literati's overall Chinese intellectual training, right? It's about music, poetry, arts, and literature. That's part of our training. So music is a very important part of our consideration of being trained or becoming a total person. So these 4 individuals started this ensemble, and then they made it into a 501c3 organization. And over the 60 years, we've been receiving the funding and grants from New York State Council of the Arts, New York City, and National Endowment of Arts, in varying degrees of, different type of organization, ranging from a couple of $1,000s, like tens of $1,000s, not a grand slice of funding, but we did receive a few funding from different organizations throughout the 60 years, throughout the years. And what we rely on operates are these public funding and also some private individual who like our music or through concert donations. A concert donation was never the sufficient amount. It's just, very minimal, but it's just, people like to comment and then show some of their appreciation of our music, which is great, right? So the money that we receive from mostly New York State and New York City, we use them to put out good quality concert hall level music. And Chinese Music Ensemble in New York is the only large scale, non-youth, non-children, non-Chinese school type of orchestra in the Northern Hemisphere of America. So other than the big orchestra, for instance, in China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Singapore, and so on and so forth, the Chinese Music Ensemble in New York is the only one in the North American area that focuses on large orchestra music. And our members, when we're on stage, will be ranging from 40 to 80, right? So
Wow.
we play symphonic and all type of music, orchestra music, and all of our members are volunteer members. They are 2/3 of them are professionally trained. They were a professional musician, and among the 2/3, there are 1/3 that are still professional, meaning they earn their living by teaching and performing.
Mhm.
And half of those 2/3 may have other job because it's very difficult to just sustain their livelihood as a musician. So some of them become like teachers or own restaurants or work in restaurants or post office man, limo driver, all kinds of things. So, but those are professionally trained musicians. They're very good. 2/3 of our members are like that. And then 1/3 will be someone like me who learn music, as an amateur and were able to catch up with the quality of music that we try to present and bring to the audiences. And we have regular jobs, right? I have my own job, and 1/3 of our member like such, we have professor, engineers, lawyers, doctors, investment bankers, these are or doing whatever jobs, right?
Uh-huh.
So these are the final 1/3 of the organization. And I'm currently the co-director of the ensemble. I joined this ensemble since 1998. So it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Many of our members are longtime members, and they come to New York. They settle down in New York, and we have members come in and out, absent flow. They may stay for a couple of years for school or something. They have to leave. But for those who stay, they tend to stay with us. So a good number of our members are longtime members.
That's great. What are some of the what are some of the biggest milestones that you've had? Like, have you been able to be in big concerts or fantastic venues or anything that really was a big deal?
Yes. So usually we do 2 grand concerts every year. And one of the concerts we would do it in a decent concert hall. And one of the biggest event we did was last year. That was our 60th anniversary concert. We did it at the Carnegie Hall, the Zanka Hall.
Oh, wow.
And it was about close to 70 member orchestra. We delivered a great concert. We filled the concert hall, 750 seats or so. It's all filled. We worked very hard to try to get the audience. And it was also right after COVID, like 6 months after the kind of opening up post-COVID.
Mhm.
So there was still a lot of caution in terms of physically coming to a concert. But still, since we haven't been out there performing in live environment, we do have fans and we do have people who want to come and listen to us. Because music is very different when you're just like theater, I think. When you're there on the spot versus you hear it through recording, it's very different.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about, so I know we've spoken a little bit about the history of these instruments and the culture, Chinese culture and stuff. Like your instrument, for example, tell me a little bit about the age of that, the development, just a little bit about the history of that instrument, and maybe touch on some of the other ones as well.
Okay, so the reason I think our mission for Chinese Music Ensemble in New York is to bring this style, this type of music to the world in such a way that these instruments that the instrument that we use in our orchestra has, I would say we have over 30 type of instruments that we use. And percussion family-wise, there's like gazillion of different type of percussion instruments, right? So all these instruments, actually about 60% of those were not invented nor originated from China. They came to China via the Silk Road from somewhere else from different parts of Asia, mainly Asia, right? Northern Asia, Central Asia, Far East Asia, even like Persia and so on, through Silk Road to China, through a journey from about 200 BC all the way to about 14th, 16th century. So it's really close to like, nearly 2,000 years of instruments traveling from different parts of Asia to China. And not just instrument, but also the musical genre, different musical styles. China has, during the Tang Dynasty, for instance, Tang Dynasty was from about, 6th to 8th or 9th century. There are 8 different styles of music, for instance. Among the 8 different styles, only 2 styles were invented and created by Chinese. The rest of the 6 styles came from somewhere else. And Chinese musicians just kind of loved them, and they kept them, they preserved them. So the instruments that we have right now and the music, the different type of genre we play through, sometimes we'll play a piece of, oh, this is Han Dynasty, like 4 AD. And then we play another style, oh, this is Ming Dynasty, 12 AD. So the different style of music represents the different elements from different historical parts. And we see the collection, the repertoire of the musical style, musical elements, and the musical instruments that we have now as a representation or a collection of the ancient world music from the past.
Yeah.
It's not just Chinese music.
Yeah.
It's not Chinese instruments. It's really Asian heritage instrument and Asian heritage music that we're trying to play. And more to the fact that, it's about a lot of instruments were really from the ethnic group or tribal group, nomadic groups that no longer exist as an independent ethnic group or nomadic group. They've been, through the all kinds of wars and nation building and this and that. The race or the people or part of the culture may still be there, but a lot of the instruments, a lot of the musical genre were lost in their own land. They were, I'm not sure where they are. But then some of the pieces, the reminiscence, the elements of those somehow were preserved in our repertoire, in our instruments, in the music pieces that we play. And I thought this is the value of Chinese music ensemble. We could share this. Just like many years ago, when musicians went to China, went to the biggest city back then in Asia, brought their instruments and their music. We came now differently to the West, to New York, right? With these instruments and music. We like to bring these to the stage of the world again, to share these instruments with people who have an appetite for, a different style of music. I personally love Western music. I learned piano and violin when I was growing up. And I love symphonic music. I grew up in chorus. I love music, Western music. But still, Chinese music, it appeals to me in such a way that they're also very beautiful. And they're just so different in such a way that I think it deserves to be heard. It deserves to have a space continuously in this world. And one of the newest things that Chinese Music Ensemble started to doing in 2023, January 2023, is we started to formally invest in building a youth orchestra, in training the younger generation kids to play. We don't expect them to become a concert, flautist or, like erhuists or whatever, right? But it's really about creating that exposure, give them a program. So not just the aspire or the highly interested kids or parents bring them to us. It's about, we offer some sort of program so that kids can come, they learn from scratch, from knowing nothing about music or knowing nothing about Asian music, but then they start this journey with us, right? Currently we have 3 sessions going. It's ended with 3 sessions. Each one has like 10 several lessons and several ensemble performance and one recital. So we did 3 already, and we've been receiving some pretty earnest comments from the parents and from the students. They like to continue, which is good. So we just want to take this one step at a time, providing an opportunity for the younger generation folks, regard of all ethnic background or all cultural background. If you're interested in different type of music or this type of music, you can come look us up and come give your child a try.
Yeah. Are these programs just available in New York City area or?
For the physical orchestra program, yes, it's in New York City area. But we also have a lot of instructors, musicians, that can provide online classes. And there are a few successful online coaching and teaching cases due to COVID.
Yeah.
Right? For COVID, we did not expect to be online for over 2 years, but we did. And then there are some students that are, pretty diligent. They're okay. They follow, the instruction, they play. And then I think for Zoom, you may need to have a special type of account, or somehow we use FaceTime, right, to do the instruction, and it could work. It could work.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's just learning about your culture and your music and your instrument is fantastic. Tell us quickly about the history of your instrument, because I know you told me before about the different phases, and obviously it looks a lot like a violin, but it's not a violin. So tell us a little bit about its history, particularly.
Okay, it's part of the string family, right? So in instruments, they're like string family where it vibrates. So you use a bow to let the string vibrates, right? So it's the string family instruments. So in Chinese orchestra, we have 4 family classes, right? It's a string family, and then it's a winged, the all kinds of vertical, horizontal, with membrane or not type of instruments. There's like a lot of those.
Yep.
And then there's plucked instrument like lutes, like harp, right? So that you pluck with your fingers, right? And then there are also percussion instruments where you hit, right? So you hit with something, and then the percussion instrument family is also very immense. There's just so many different kinds of them making all kinds of sounds, right? So these 4 type of things. As you may notice that or not, but then it's really like for the Western Symphonic Orchestra, they have string instruments and wind instruments. They also have percussion instruments, but there's no pluck instruments. There's no pluck instrument. Pluck instrument exists in the Western musical world, but it just did not get incorporated into the symphonic music because the plucking kind of breaks away the pursuit for harmonic sound. So it's a kind of pursuit where composer from Renaissance onward all the way to classical to romanticism to rococo, they kind of just selectively did not include the pluck instrument, but we do, right? But then for my instrument, the one that this erhu instrument, right? So like I mentioned earlier, where the current instrument families that we have in this whole Chinese classical orchestra are really a collection of many instruments come to China through all kinds of means and ways, mainly through Silk Road, and somehow got adopted and then accepted and become part of the whole Chinese instrument. For this instrument I have, it show up, we knew about it since like early BC, but we start using it, apply it in concert setting starting from 9th century. But then when it becomes a regular member of the Chinese chamber or ensemble, it will be up to about 14th century. So it took this instrument 500 years from a regular performing type of instrument to become a regular member of the ensemble. It took it 500 years. But there are some other instruments make that journey faster. For instance, pipa, the kind of pluck instrument, came from Persia to China, right? In also like 100 BC or near the beginning of AD. But then starting from the Tang Dynasty, like the 4 or 5 AD, 300 years or so, people love it. They use it for all kinds of composition. They use it to recite their poetry and sing along their love song and so on and so forth. So it just kind of becoming a very widely used and accepted instrument within like 200 or 300 years, very quickly. And the quickest instrument actually Chinese discovers and realize its value and really fall in love with it was this instrument. And the youngest orchestra member of the Chinese orchestra is cello. Cello came into the Chinese musicians' eyesight actually in the early 1900, like 1912, 1913. And then by 1930 and 40, it's really it become a regular member. So it took it like 30 years. Very quickly, we accepted cello. Oh, this is great. And then we accepted double bass. Oh, this is great.
That's great. So, Anchi, tell me a little bit about what sort of upcoming programs that do you have that people can look forward to?
We always have individual lessons at private lessons that can be pursued, for different type of instruments. And even with the same type of instrument, there are 2 or 3, sometimes 4. At most, we have a couple of teachers that you can kind of work with or select from at the time that was suitable for either yourself or your children. We teach both children and adults, right? Anyone who wants to give it a try, we can try to make it happen. So individual lessons, online or physical lesson, can happen at a mutually convenient schedule based on yours and the instructor. And we would offer another youth orchestra training program, meaning any kids who want to start, they can start from scratch. Kids 8 years old and above, right, who can sit still, kind of want to learn to read music. Then we have one started actually in early January, and we will offer weekly instrument training classes, 2 hours on Sunday morning. So the kids can learn one instrument from scratch, or if they have any foundation, that's great. We'll continue based on that foundation. So we will have classes, music lesson, and then we will arrange a number of depends on how many different type of instruments we have, right? We will organize a small ensemble play for these kids. So they don't just practice their own instrument, they also learn to play in their ensemble setting where they play with each other, they listen to each other. And then at the end of the program, usually it's a 10 session, including instrument lessons and several ensemble lessons. We put up a recital for them so that they show to themselves and to their parents and their friends what they've learned in the past 9 weeks.
Wow.
So that a program is coming up and during the first week of January.
What does that program cost?
It costs about $450 for 10 sessions. Each session is 2 hours.
That's great.
And we do offer scholarship or based on need basis. If there's some family with individual hardship that you really feel that this is something that can benefit your kids, right? Because we do have some grants, and some of our music instructors, they're if they could teach in the group lesson setting, then we will be able to accommodate, some of these individual children with financial needs, and we will try to make it work. So that's our commitment to our community too.
It's really great. It's fascinating learning about your culture and your music, and I hope obviously I will do whatever I can here at Camps with Friends. We've set up your business profile for you. You're on one of our plans. We have a great photo sharing feature coming out in January as well, where you're going to be able to take pictures of all these kids with these great instruments and share that out directly with parents via a link. So we're looking forward to getting that out there. Anchi, where can parents find your information?
Okay, we have a website. If you type in Chinese Music Ensemble of New York, you'll find our website. On our website, there is this youth program information that you can find. And on this platform, there is also a contact us where you can send an email to us and someone, because we are a volunteer organization. We have people monitoring the mailboxes. We have 2 mailboxes. One is for the youth, one is for the general orchestra thing. But whichever mailbox you reach, someone will get back to you.
And that's info at ChineseMusicEnsemble.org. Right?
Yes, that's a general one. You can come through because that one, then we will start asking you, are you an adult or a children? Do you want to do individual lesson or want to join the youth orchestra program? And then if you're children, you want to join the youth orchestra, there's another email box we'll send you to where that youth orchestra program administrator and director will respond to you.
Great. Well, Anchi, it was very, very fascinating. I'm excited to learn more about the Chinese Music Ensemble, and I'm certainly going to do everything that I can to help you get the word out there around the country. And so yeah, hang around. I'm going to press stop record here in just a second, and then we can continue talking after that. So
okay, great.
Thank you to everyone for watching. You can also find the Chinese Music Ensemble of New York on campswithfriends.com. Just go in there. If you're in the New York area, you can just search for music and it'll show up in the search results. So thanks for watching, and we'll see everyone in our next video.
Great. Thank you.